I was also, because obviously playing the Black Riders a little bit, I was thinking about their courage buff, and I reckon courage should work differently. Uh, like I understand you have a courage stat. I feel like any negatives to courage should reduce the amount of distance a model can move, as opposed to failing a courage check and just not move at all. So it's
Mm.
like, okay, cool, you're in Harbinger of Evil or whatever, it's -1. So
Hmm.
your 6 inch move goes to a five. Dwarves, your five goes to a four.
Yeah.
Black Riders are like, oh, you're in range of seven of us. Great. That's 3 inches off of your movement. And suddenly you're just like, oh, I don't really kind of know what I'm gonna do unless I've got bodyguard that I'm in. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I reckon that'd be cool.
I respect that. Something different anyway.
Yeah.
I think they just kept it to not moving to keep it simple
Yeah, that
for
makes
people like me.
sense. Oh, mate. Welcome back, hand disappeared. Yeah, there we go. Welcome back to the channel. Got Jay from Mountain Goat Gaming again, and we are going to be commentating on another battle report from the Battle of Bywater. So, 2 day event up in Brisbane, which is quite nice.
Mm.
First 2 day event held at a bar, like an actual bar that I've been to outside of like Gladstone,
Yep.
which was quite good. I quite enjoyed that. But no, 650 points, 30 people, I think,
Hmm.
altogether.
28. 28.
28, 28. So it was a good smattering of people, I think. And there was a phenomenal amount of armies on display, just stuff from everywhere, which is really good.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was good. It was a great weekend.
yeah,
Liam from Noobs did a great job.
definitely. And I think there's a lot of stuff that you didn't really kind of see before. Like I've never seen the kind of, because you took Mordor, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't take the Witch King, you took
Yeah, Lord.
Shadow Lord and Mouth of Sauron, yeah?
Took the Shadow Lord. I took Mouth of Sauron. Um, and the Spider Queen.
Mm.
So, and then just a typical Black Numenorian running line. And yeah, look, it went well. It went well. And there was an Angmar Shade list. There was a pure Arnor list. There was some dwarves, quite a few dwarves actually. Dwarves are still hot in Queensland.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Um, two Last Alliance lists. Um,
Some
uh,
prick took Black Rider's douchebag.
yeah. Um, and then there was a big army of survivors of Lakedown with like 18 or 20 boats or something ridiculous. So yeah, it was pretty heated.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. And this is actually one of the games that we're going to look at today. So this is, there was a little bit of technical setup trying to get things sorted for day one. So we got some stuff done for day two. And this is sort of like game five, which is quite cool. So what I'll do is let's just get into it, because it was a good game. So you've got with it the the way it sets up. Also, by the way, this is the new setup. Hopefully, you like it. This is the thing that I'm trying out. So it was between Thorin's company. So it's a full, well, a mounted Thorin's company. And then the Serpent Horde. And I think it was the Legion Serpent Horde, where you can take
Grand Army of the South.
Grand Army in the South. That's what it was. So War Leader on Mumak is the army's leader. Then there's five bows mounted in the Howdah, and then you've got Suladan and a variety of cavalry and, well, between kind of like horses and camel models as two warband drops. So quite punchy. Both very low model count armies for 650 points, but yeah, very very kind of interesting. So the game they played was Assassination. Yeah, yeah. So realistically, Suladan has to be the assassin, which means that Suladan has to be Riley's target. And then for Tom's target was Gloin, I think.
Okay.
Um,
That's fair because Gloin would normally get it. Smash.
yeah, I think it was Gloin. Let me one sec. Let me just double check that to make sure that's correct. Because Riley's went through. No, sorry. His target was Dwalin, and obviously his assassin was Suladan because
Yep.
it couldn't be the old mate riding the Mumak. And yeah, they're kind of just setting up that 24-inch line, um, sort of rolling off to see who's going to go for where. They switched sides, but I think Riley dropped first, and then obviously Tom's just ready to go. They've adjusted some of the terrain as well, just to make sure that the Mimac can kind of still move around relatively unimpeded,
Hmm.
but at the same time, there has to be some choke points and things to stop it kind of moving off. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's what Riley does really well is he starts to use this middle bit of terrain to kind of go, okay, well, I'm not gonna just get stomped on. I'll also just try and blinding light. I think was the first thing that he put up, like a channeled blinding light.
Yep. Makes sense.
So yeah,
It makes sense. It's also interesting too because it's like the Mumak has to move its full 8 inches as well. Like it can't just stop. So you can't exactly kind of go oh a little bit and then stop. You have to go the full 8 as well, and pivoting and moving that base around is really quite challenging.
I think
So
Riley's been a bit of a gentleman there. Just like, oh, we'll just move this out of the way.
yeah,
Let's let's be realistic about this.
yeah,
I didn't realize it had to move its full 8 though. I
yeah.
thought it
Very
could just
interesting.
trundle. Oh,
Very interesting. Unless it obviously fails to kill. That's when it can stop.
interesting. Yeah, because I have been on the receiving end of this particular Mimac actually. Beautifully painted bottle. Oh, sorry, it's getting a little bit fancy there. My apologies. Switching the old angle, so to speak. So yeah, a bit of a shooting phase, obviously from the archers up the top. Um, but what was I going to say? Yeah,
You've been on the receiving end of this, Momac.
yeah, I've been on. Yeah, that's right, I have, and it's triggered me PTSD. Uh,
So realistically, like to call the bets early, I'd put my money on Riley to take this one out, simply because he has so much agency over the heroes who can go in or just dance around, and he just needs to kill a bit of chaff whilst running around the elephant and making sure it doesn't do any work with heroic combats and magic and compelling the Mumak left, right, and center.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, tough.
I feel like because you got the one cast, obviously Gandalf's moving at full speed, and then the ponies. You got to take a
And
courage test to be able to get them to charge stuff.
correct, but it's also a courage of the dwarves. So
Yeah, yeah. And then they deny the Cav bonus, which is quite nice.
yes, yeah,
So it's a handy little thing because obviously the some of the big hitters he's got. So he's got Thorin with the actual shield, and I believe it's got Orcus as well.
you'd be mad not to.
Yeah, then he's got Dwalin, Boffer, obviously Gandalf on horse.
Glowing Dwalin.
Yeah, and someone else. I can't remember who the last one is. Um, but I think at this point they were essentially just trying to determine what the elephant could walk over.
Yeah,
Or sorry, what the Mermaid could walk over. It's not an elephant. It's different.
yeah.
Um, so they also play this quite interesting because the way I understood this, and I could be wrong, is like, you know how you call your heroics, right? And you kind of have to call them all at the start.
Hmm.
It The way they played it is that so Riley calls on with Thorin, Mumak cancels the first one, and then Tom's like, but you can now call another one with someone else.
Which is I assume is correct.
Yeah, but I find it weird because the way I've always thought about it is like you just call everything at once and then you just go and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Well, it has to alternate. So the alternation for the Mumak is the cancelling out.
Right. Okay. That makes so
Mm.
much more sense.
Mm.
Yeah, I was trying to wrap my head around this and I read it and I read it and I was like, I just don't get this. I just don't get this. But yeah, so I think he also then called a move off the back of that and is getting ready to just stomp. So we'll see. Uh,
So has the Mum has correct me if I'm wrong, has the Mumak caught the dwarves already?
well, I mean, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, at least one of them because it had
One's
to move,
almost
not
one's
march.
almost enough, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and so they're rolling some damage that it'll take as it steps through a few things.
Hmm.
They'll get rid of that, move the statue there. And I think Riley was preemptively getting ready to just pick up uh, Biffa.
Hmm.
Yeah. But with the
Yep.
upgrades and stuff, the 4 attacks, it's just insane.
Wow. So it's a
Yeah.
dead dwarf. Oh.
Yeah.
So
And
at
then
this
he's already
point,
starting to
Tom
pincer as
doesn't
well.
do. Tom's pretty much just doing a pincer move, really.
Yeah. Now, one
He's,
thing they did out of order, but it didn't really matter anyway because of where everything moved, even with its sort of maximum distance, is that they moved everything outside of the Mumak as well. So they won the heroic move. I think it was no, sorry, Army of the South does its heroic move, then Thorin should have done a heroic move, but everything else just kind of got moved before then anyway. I don't think it really mattered, and set it out.
oh, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, Sorcerer's Blast had to mite it to a 5.
yeah.
And I think Tom's going to give it a go. And he's chucked 2 and a free at it. And I think it goes through. And then he's basically rolling to see what happens. So he gets knocked prone in the Howder.
Shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's all right. At least he didn't fall off.
True.
Like, because what are you taking?
Like 3-4 straight, 3 hits.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I
No.
think. I'm not actually sure. I haven't read that section of the War Beast part in a long time.
Hmm. But yeah, they're just resolving the wound on Old Mate, which I believe goes through. So it should not go down. Yeah, there we go.
It's interesting that Tom didn't back up the extra riders who are currently clogging that choke point with more riders. Like he's following the Mumak around. It
Mm.
just feels like he needs to try and tie up the dwarves as much as he can for
Yeah.
the Mumak to come in and do the work for
Well,
him.
that's it. Because if you can stop them, the Mimic can walk in, and then the Mimic can stop when it hits your models.
There's a lot of D6 dwarves here.
Yeah. Yeah, with a lot of D4 and then Suladan's D5.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if you can see Suladan's on that sort of like white horse just on the back left of the Mimic.
Okay.
Um, but with Blinding Light, everything going into Gandalf, it was funny when I was editing this, I'd read who everyone's targets were. And then when all the shots went into Gandalf, I thought, oh, maybe it's his target. You know what I mean? Like I already had the
Mm,
information, I already knew, but part of me as I was
true.
watching this and kind of editing, I was like, oh, this is exciting. What's happening?
True. Yeah, I don't know. Gandalf's an odd choice. I would just try and keep getting a wound on Dwalin if that was the case, honestly.
Mm.
Even if you can take the horse off Dwalin.
Yeah, because that's the person you're after, and you can be like, all right, cool, let's kind of get this down. Um,
Another cancellation.
yeah. So then a second heroic move by Dwalin. Um,
So do they still get it refunded?
I think you lose it. I think Thorin's lost 2 technically.
Oh crap.
Yeah, but then Riley's just doing the smart thing of trying to ensure that everyone can kind of keep out of at least 8 of Old Mate.
Hmm.
Um, and potentially get some damage. Because the thing about these cav is they're going to be easy kills for dwarves that are getting sort of 2 or 3 attacks on the charge, even just off the back of a pony.
Well, at this point here, Riley could have almost had two turns of movement. He could have just gone, grabbed, and then heroic moved and gone, or even compelled that horse, that pony, whatever that is, forward.
Yeah. But well, yeah, you could have. But Riley seems to be intent on trying to blast the war leader off of the Mumak.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's his secret objective. It's not part of the game. There's no missions in it, but he's just like, yep, this is what we're going to do.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. At that point there's no bonuses to courage checks. As soon as a Mormac takes a courage test, it just stampedes.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it takes the same thing with the ponies. I think it takes the courage of the war leader.
Yes, it
It's
does.
like courage 6 or something from memory.
Yep,
Like quite
something decent.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, just
And
sort of following up.
I don't understand why he's bringing the cavalry around behind the Mormac.
Yeah, because at this point, you'd almost want to pincer sort of back around to back up with the other cavalry by himself.
Yeah,
Um, and then go, okay, great. Let's create that front line.
correct.
Even if you have to sacrifice Suladan or something, it might be worth it. But I think Riley calls 2 heroic combats here
Hmm.
as a way to be able to try and just move.
Also, Riley did go and capture people. Gotcha. That
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
he's got
I
2
thought
people
he
down
did.
the bottom, and then he's going to attempt to, I think, just continue to get out of the way. We'll continue to get out of dodge. and he's also determining where he needs to get to if it pivots and then either marshes or moves. Um, I do love how you have to back an elephant in though, just with the tusks. You
Yeah.
can't do it forward on a bit of a cluttered board like this. It's not happening. But Tom, being the good sport that he is actively marking out where everything's going to get to, so that his opponent can clearly understand what's happening, which I rate actually, just from a play perspective, because it there's nothing worse than getting caught by something that you don't know.
How big of a difference of a game is it when you're versing the Womack versus any other game?
Yeah, they're scary. They're so scary. I I mean, I was like I said, I was a Black Rider player, so
Yeah.
it was a little bit different. But the sigils and stuff really made its kind of mark, and I had to try and kite as much as possible, um, which did feel a bit bad.
Yeah.
But I think it's what you got to do because otherwise you're just taking, in this case, with an upgraded Mumak with all the things, 4 strength 9 hits.
Massive. It's massive. It's also important to note you get a set couple of upgrades with the Army of the South. You can't upgrade anymore. So no repelling lines, no throw rocks. Big sad. Big
Mm,
sad. But fight five striking Womack.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
swinging its tusks around, being
Yeah.
like, "Let's go." I mean, the repel lines would be fun with like a bunch of half ogres,
Half trolls.
half trolls. That's it, half ogres and plenty much 30k. Um, yeah, just drop down the side, Mission Impossible style.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, two handy kills here. Um,
You're just watching Riley trail off now.
yeah, just moving around.
Yeah.
Um,
Great play.
and I think the he does a bit of a reposition here, um, because he wants to make sure, I think, that he stays outside of 12. So that way he's not wasting 2 might anymore to call moves and things.
Okay.
So the people that he wants to call moves with, if he loses, he can go, okay, great.
Okay.
This is how we're going to do it. Um, but he's clumping together, blinding lights up, like it makes sense. Um,
Thorin's company.
yeah. I mean, they're getting the move off anyway.
This is the one thing that annoys me with playing this army is you want priority. So you're spending might on moves all the time,
Yeah.
which is something I personally hate doing.
I mean, I've played a lot of the fellowships. I'm used to kind of having stuff to spend. Aragon's got a free one. Boz has just a might battery. It's always fun when you play with Build a Pony as well, just
Hmm.
because you can kind of regenerate that. But yeah, so the Wall Eater's calling a move, and I think what it does is obviously it will still trample that lone dwarf right at the bottom.
I'd like to know who it
Let's
is.
see. It is an excellent question, because that was Thorin, but then he'll catch everyone. And then I think it'll lead into another hit on that lone rider up there. The other thing to note, actually, with Tom's army is that it was 14 models exactly, which
Hmm.
means that with the way it's positioned, because the Mumak and the Wall Leader count for 2 separate models, and then there was 5 models in the Howder, you could kill everything on the ground, and he still wasn't broken. Like
Correct.
you physically had to get something
Yeah.
uh, out of the thing. So he's compelled that way, I believe, with Gandalf. Yeah.
That's what it felt like as well. See, now I think is where Tom needs to make a choice. Like, how is he going to try and stop and catch the Thorin's company?
Hmm.
He's gone for Gandalf again.
Yeah. I think he's trying to get rid of the blinding light, which I do understand. That kind of makes sense.
I
But if
mean,
you're
then
rolling
he rerolls
sixes,
fate.
yeah. So it goes up. Um, Strength 2 on D5 is a 6, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's not enough. Yeah, rerolls fail. I would have probably been trying to chuck it at old mate, or even into the combat, just to try and stop that heroic
Yeah.
combat
Mm,
from kind of happening.
true,
It's yeah, Thorin's company is definitely using all of that to kind of move around and give it a go.
definitely.
Um, and so obviously trapped. Uh,
See, right now you can kind of feel Hom just struggling in the sense of he's split up. His army is basically being pulled apart piece by piece, which is what Thorin's company does so well.
I mean, I think also it's probably having never played a Mumak, but I feel like potentially having a discussion around, hey guys, how much of this terrain is actually destroyable? Like, if
Mm,
I want to take wounds to just stampede through that middle building there and stop you being able to just kite around it, let's do
yeah,
it. Like, buildings have what, three, their strength 10, they've got three wounds from memory.
I think so.
Yeah. So you're just like, all right, cool, let's give it a go. I stampede to it, I got 4 hits, um, needing fives, but
Mm,
might and things, you could definitely get rid of it, potentially take some wounds on the way back. Mumak's got 10
true.
and your courage 6.
Yeah.
Um, which I think might have been a play, but it definitely does feel like. Did you ever play the game Dead by Daylight?
No.
So there's this. What's happening here? Dead by Daylight is a great serial killer game. We're deviating slightly. Serial killer chases a bunch of like would be victims, and there's a thing you can do where you loop them. So you jump between like um, windows and sort of these L-shaped walls. And this is kind of what it reminds me of a little bit, where the serial killer is faster than you,
Yeah.
but it just can't catch you because
Yep.
of like how you take the turns and stuff.
Yeah.
And it is this all over again. I'm just kind of like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is rough.
So it just feels like, Tom unfortunately is just getting taken for a ride. Like Riley's got full control of this game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, early doors when he got in, I thought was pretty good.
Definitely.
But then so because obviously the Mumak can stampede, can it charge off of that as well if it can reach?
I think so.
Yeah, interesting.
Like I said, man, honestly, I haven't read the Mormax War Beast for a couple of months now, which is something I need to do. I need to go back and reread it, refresh my mind again with all the crap that it can do. But realistically, is that Suladan that's bringing forth?
Yeah, yeah, correct with the banner.
So like the only way that Tom can try and eke out a draw here or a minor loss, maybe even a minor win, is by pretty much keeping Suladan way the hell away
Mm-hmm.
and don't give Riley those points.
Yeah, because you get 3 points for keeping your target alive. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's the other thing too about having like two hero or like two warband drops, because it sort of forces one of your other characters to be or take on that active role.
Hmm.
And if you don't have a hitter to kind of get in and get it done, I mean, Suladan's definitely a hitter. If you don't have, I think, the stuff to back up the hitter to be able to go, okay, well, I can peel some things off, I can take some chaff, I can then start taking the stuff out. You're good.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
I'm going to be honest, I'm glad I didn't play this game with Black Riders because it would have been difficult to just keep track of one of 6 out of 7 nameless, irrelevant people.
Yeah.
It's like, who's this? How do we do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Tough game. It's hard. And this unfortunately is you're talking two skew armies.
yeah,
Like both armies are skewed. Riley's army has the advantage of magic, um, which is huge, especially when going against a Mac. And with the amount of might that Riley's army has, the Thorns Company can dictate so much of this game.
yeah,
Tom's just really relying on a lot of priority roles.
yeah. And even then, you're relying on priority roles, but also, like you said, with the resources that you have to dictate the game, you've got to
Mm,
wait for those resources to run out.
correct.
And then if you lose that arbitrary 50-50 roll off at the start of a game to try and figure out what's happening, um, they're determining
Who can shoot?
away rolls who can shoot. Yeah. And so that
A lot of people get this wrong because it's like they still need to move in through the howdah. Like it's effectively a shooting platform that you
yeah,
have to move around.
yeah, yeah. So with the because the Howder's not like a chariot, is it? Chariots just move and do whatever you want and still shoot.
Mm,
That's fine.
mm.
This one is if the Mumak moves, you can still shoot, but if you're not in the position, you've got to switch sides. Oh, actually, no, I know what's happened. He's turned it around, but the dice are representing where they are on the other side. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
does.
Yeah. So obviously, because you can't get in just with the way tusks are. Okay. Thorin came off his pony.
So could you imagine if that was Dwalin?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if that's your target, go. He's then only moving, what, 5 inches. You can catch that.
Yeah.
And then Riley has to protect Dwalin. So it's like, oh shit, that's a non-lady character on the ground.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, actually, does Gandalf have to be the leader?
No, Thorin's leader.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, Gandalf has to be the leader in the Fellowship, if you take him, because he's
Yeah.
the one of legend. Um, but I don't think you could see Dwalin from the shots, like which is what the angle that they were kind of talking about.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, at the very, this is good for Tom because now Riley has to protect the dwarf.
Yeah, and it's your leader too. Like that's still two victory
Mm.
points if you can kind of kill it or wound it. Well,
It's
one if you
massive.
wound it, two if you kill it, right?
That could be what Tom grabs,
Yeah,
and just runs away with Suladan, like runs away.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing because Gandalf moves 10, everyone else moves 8, your horse moves 10, so you're always going to be outside of their range
Hmm.
as long as you do the whole kind of even just staying 9 inches away.
Yep,
Um,
definitely.
and that was another sorcerer's blast with a six rolled by Tom for the sigil. Mate, those sigils get work done. Hey, just
Love it.
magic resist in general gets work done.
Love it.
It's I like playing the Black Riders and then just getting rolled into hobbits on game three. That was rough. But the
Yeah.
magic resist is, I think, what was the real kick in the teeth, where it's like I should be able to just black dart you out of pure anger and just throw one dice black darts and see what happens. And then my opponent just was like, "Yeah, you can do that, but I got magic resistance." And there was a couple of times like where it paid off, which was it was kind of funny, but at the same time it was rough.
Very annoying.
Trying to just get through it. And
Yeah.
the horses I was screwed. Anyway, um, but yeah, so Thorin's company wins kind of the turn 8 roll off, and then they're looping back around, I think, to try and catch Suladan.
Does he get the magic is what I want to know.
Well, I think he rolled a 1 on his Sorcerer's Blast with
Okay.
3-1.
Okay.
Because Blinding Light's still up. I think Gandalf has at this point maybe 2 left.
Yeah.
2 will left. So he's trying to be a bit conservative and just not lose it.
So the Mormac has to rotate, but the tusks are going to hit that building.
Yeah.
Does it go by the model tusks or the base?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would have played it by the base.
I feel like the base is what I'd be going off of there.
Yeah.
But we could be very wrong. Like we are not Mormac players, nor Aaron nor I.
Yeah, no. The reason I've never played a Mumak is because I'm afraid to paint one.
Funnily enough, I started painting mine and getting it all down there. And then I wanted some freehand, like the MGG.
Mm,
So I've sent it to Tom.
nice. Yeah, his army is beautiful. I have to try and figure out what his like Instagram or something is so that you can see it.
Yeah.
Um, it's got some poison rolls there, I think. No, that was stuff that was going up down. Um,
So nothing really happened that turn, honestly.
no, and this will be my personal gripe with Blinding Light. Like it's great, it's so good, but then it just makes I think an already ineffective part of the game, which is shooting, just even more ineffective. Oh, there we go. I said something. Oh, I've said something.
I I think shooting is so powerful in this game because you can literally have a non-trade-off trade-off. You can take something for no risk, which in this game is huge. Um, I definitely think if Blinding Light did not exist, you would see assault on, Helm's Deep,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
defenders on Helm's Deep, like railroad armies, and we did see that, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I think shooting definitely is nowhere near what 40K is.
mm,
But the oh God, I don't know. Like, how impressive is it to play Tau?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? To have something that just is hard to that style of list, that archetype, I think is really good.
no, that's fair.
That's why I took the Shadow Lord,
Hmm.
and I didn't play any shooting.
Yeah, because Shadow Lord's got like a 6-inch black dot. Yeah,
Yeah, you spend a will, the Veil of Darkness or Pool of Darkness, whatever it's called.
yeah, I back that. I quite like that.
Yeah, well, I had the Spider Queen, so D4, like she dies to a stiff breeze, no fate, 3 wounds. In the Arnold game, she lost a wound from a cheeky hobbit. Like, phew. Just went through a couple of my lines, and I'm like, ah, what can you do? But all of a sudden, she's down to 2 wounds, and it's like, fuck, just one unlucky dice roll. And yeah, sure enough, in that game, she did die, just to worries from not rolling high enough and getting the natty sixes that I needed her to get.
Yeah,
So,
yes. The joys of the game.
mm. The other, like the flip side to that is if you were to, I don't actually know how you could balance it out. Like if you were to take blinding light out of the situation, how would you balance or like counteract shooting?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like what do you do?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I think like
He's assassin's coin.
mm,
So correct me if I'm wrong. Has Riley just caught Suladan?
no, Suladan is so if you're looking at the one on the left, Suladan is just behind the building. If you're looking at the top right, Suladan is that one model between the two buildings up the top. So he's the furthest one back.
So
What
in
he's
other
done
words,
is he's just compelled the standard warrior into uh Dwalin.
yeah. So he can just angle in.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that way they can basically just shoot off and bang for a priority. That's massive.
yeah. And then
Riley's played a really good game here.
yeah, he really has. And then they don't have to take courage test again because they've already passed their courage test once. Now they get a
Mhm.
cheeky little 8-inch charge to just jump into something. But that's one of the camel riders there as well.
Yeah.
I think is what
With
they're going
Dwalin.
into. And I'm not quite sure what he's going to do with the others. And then for people that are playing at home, if you, or of course you're playing at home, you're watching. So Thorin is based on this camera angle. He's actually hidden behind the
Right.
the wall. It's like right in front of you.
Yeah.
Um, so he'll pop up in a bit. And he caught me off guard a couple of times where I just went, "Oh, where'd you come from?" Because as you're changing cameras, what is this? But yeah, just trying to work out where that 12-inch line is to ensure that he is able to call moves,
But be out of cancel range.
be out of cancel range, and still catch people.
It's very good. It's very good playing.
Yeah. And I think Thorin being off a horse isn't the worst thing because he's D8. Like, even if he gets stomped by Mumak, that Mumak's winning you on fours.
Yep. Chances are it's 2 wounds.
Yeah. And then you got Fate, so you can stop it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But
Um,
then you need to fight the Womack.
you get knocked prone, though, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know.
We keep asking each other these questions and we don't know the answers.
I
No,
feel like you would.
it would make sense.
How could you survive a trample?
Yeah. Yeah. Takes cavalry charge, falls over, takes elephant charge, just moves to the side.
Yeah. And
Stab.
this is now the forefront of what has to happen here. So unfortunately Tom's put his game into a dice roll.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever gets this roll off.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like either of them are getting a bonus for charging, but I believe it goes evil. That's a one. Yeah. So at least he gets to kind of dictate where stuff goes.
Oh my
So we
God,
don't go
that's
straight
so
in there.
lucky.
So I think no, see, Suladan didn't go into Dwalin. Uh,
Well, then charge though.
yeah, but I think for me, if I was, because you'd have to hit two anyway. So yeah, hitting one is the right call.
Problem is, it's like Suludan's good. He's only strength four.
Mm,
We're rolling ones. Like,
yeah,
oh, I don't know, God.
this is just attempting another Sorcerer's Blast. I think he's blowing all of his will on it, and still rolled a six on that magic
Wow.
resist. Just
Wow.
magic resistance, baby. That's the stuff. But yeah, this thing is just moving backwards and forwards.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that
And
was
see, this is what I was hoping Tom like would have done potentially earlier if he could clog up the Thorns company, even maybe chance to win and then get a priority. Um, cancel a move off, have a few guys through. Like it's hard, but it's definitely doable.
mm,
And he needs a couple of things to go his way, but he needed to find a way to use terrain and his models to try and catch the Thorns company, and try and lure Riley with a bait, Suladan to get in.
mm,
That's the only way I can think you would catch Thorin's company here. Or, unfortunately, you would just play a really boring game.
mm.
Like a really boring game, which no one really wants to play. But again, like we said before, skewed armies.
Yeah, yeah. Especially for an hour 45 either.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bomber calls a heroic combat. So Bomber is on with Dwalin and Biffer, I think.
Yeah.
Um, just on the that one guy.
Hmm.
So Suladan strikes up. So Suladan I think,
Oh,
gets to fight 10.
no, that was a
That
roll.
was a
That
that
was a
was a
roll.
roll
He's
of
on a six.
because of the banner.
Yep.
There's a six.
Almost on a six too. Rough.
Yeah, that thing's gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
just on the first strike too. Not
Yeah.
even just zero fucking.
They died with stiff breeze. So correct me if I'm wrong, it's literally just the Mormac and Swordan.
At the moment, yeah, those are the two models that are on the field for Tom.
Yeah. Trap Swordan.
Hmm.
I wonder why he didn't go for a fourth pony in.
Um,
Maybe for the heroic move. Yeah, of course. No, that's a great play.
that makes sense. I
That's a good play.
I actually think, yeah. So Suladan goes to fight 10. I think Gloin is dead. Like I think Gloin was the first one to die to the trample.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Riley's assassin is out.
Swordan needs a six.
Now, this is, I just want to highlight this because to Tom's credit, Tom's rolled three dice and he re-rolled that because it landed on the Mumax base and stuff on it. He's like, oh, it's a bit cocked. For me, not in that situation, but just in general, I've been like, look, you can see a majority of the whole face of the dice and you'll fight 10.
That's
You
big.
fight 10.
That's
Yeah.
big.
Like it is the level of sportsmanship is insane because obviously he's trapped. And then Dwalin's just come in and been like, shink, bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only benefit I think if Tom had like left that as a six is to take some wounds off of Dwalin with your assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong. That's 5 points.
Five. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes to evil.
No more. Five. It might even be an 8 point swing because he got the leader.
No, the leader is the war leader.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So
Poor Tom.
we're kind of having a bit of a look um, to determine sort of like what's actually going to happen and how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
Because Tom has exactly the number of models that he needs to not break.
Yeah.
Um, but he's lost his target. He's lost he doesn't. I don't think he's confident in killing Dwalin or getting him off the pony. Um, so I
This
feel
is
like
just
they're
the
kind of
agency, right? This is literally just the agency we were
yeah,
talking about. Like Riley just hasn't played up or given him a chance, like a window in at all,
Yeah, yeah.
which is tough. It's really tough.
Mm. So what they did was they called it there. Like, well, I say they called it there. To their credit, they played it out. So they
Yeah.
had a discussion. If you listen to the actual footage, there's a lot of backwards and forwards. And Riley's kind of like, look, I want to see if I can blast the War Leader off of the Mumak. That's been my goal the whole game. And to his credit, he does right at the end. Like
Love it.
35 minutes in, he just falls off. Like Sorcerer's Blast falls over, doesn't take the damage from falling over,
Yep.
falls off the thing and dies.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so I don't think he got a wound on Thorin from memory. I put it down as like the target being wounded
Yeah.
because they called it 10-1 by the end.
Hmm.
But phenomenal game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Phenomenal game.
Yeah. Very cool. And to be honest with you, even if Sullivan had have rolled that six, yeah, he could potentially get a wound on Dwalin, do some damage. But Riley's outmining and Suladan really. So, like, I feel like Tom, from the very start, should have gone in with the idea of my Mormak is here, the rest of all my army is here, and I'm trying to just herd cattle or herd ponies in the middle, right?
Mm.
That's kind of the way that I'd be looking to play this game. But it's tough. It's tough, especially with Magic and everything that the Thrones Company brings, and you're so reliant on one model doing everything for you. You take that 400 plus model out,
Yeah.
GG man.
I think he wants to take two at some point. He's trying to get to an event that has points big enough to take two. And I'm
Yeah,
going to be honest, I would love to see what the two-handed mimics look like because they
sick.
would be gorgeous.
Yeah. How
Two
many points are they based? 300 or 400?
three something from memory.
Okay. Okay.
325
He
maybe.
could take it to MGG.
Mm. Yeah, he could. He could.
I think Tom's just waiting to see if he's got his uni timetable,
Yeah.
and then he'll be there or he won't be there. But if you are Tom and you're listening to this, please bring two to MGG.
Yeah.
You can just use mine.
Yeah. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, no, really good game. That was good to watch. You don't normally get to see these two armies play, let alone versus each other as well. And it's also a good chance of like reflecting on how you mitigate a Mormac using terrain when
Mm.
you have low models or even just a couple of models. And if you're playing model like an army that's got more like a higher model count than what Thorin's company did, just feed the Mormac a guy a turn. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Just every single time.
Yeah.
So yeah, tough, really tough for Tom.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to phrase it really.
Yeah, nah, look, I think he did really well. I think he just got stuck with a couple of unlucky scenarios to choose from. Um, yeah,
Definitely, definitely.
I know that was a good game. I
Mm.
guess for yourself, is there anything you're plugging MGG wise? Anything that you guys have got going on over there? Uh,
All I can say at this stage, I, myself and Sean and Alex are cooking up a bit of a storm. We've got something pretty big coming up, and it's going to involve a lot of collaboration from around the world, and I'm very excited. It's going to be pretty big. So it might be like a 6 month long venture by the time it's all said and done.
mhm.
But yeah, look, definitely watch this space. But to be honest with you, man, we've had such an overwhelming response from our videos and what we're doing. It's going to be great. It's going to be really, really good. So yeah,
Yeah, sick, awesome. I can't wait to see it. That's going to be exciting.
no,
That's going to be exciting.
no, it's just going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, it always is, always is. But I guess anyone watching this, if you haven't gone and subscribed to MTG, go do it. Go do it now, because there's just so much on there. So make sure that you're hitting them with every platform that they've got. It's only getting better and better. Like it's continuing to grow. There's like the fact that you've got three really veteran tournament players being able to talk through the intricacies of the game just gives you an insight into even if you want to get into it, you just kind of want to understand and pick up like good starting points to then build and move forward. It's yeah, do it.
I
Just
appreciate
do
it.
it now. That's the thing. Don't come back and watch my video so you've done it. Oh, good call. Ah, screw it.
No, no. Thanks for having me on, Dean. It's always a
No.
pleasure. I enjoy these battle reports. I just try to remember that I need to talk rather than just watch.
No, that's
Hmm.
okay. That's okay. Oh, mate. All right. Well, everyone, well, we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.